On this week's episode of No Hezzy Hoopcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Blovih8tion. Kings, Lakers, everything's on the table for these two squads tonight. We want everybody to know nothing is off limits.
No holds barred.
If you want to say that, take it to the limit.
I'm with that.
I'm a little nervous, honestly.
I think we all are, but it's time.
Listen, all I have is one song to sing. It's time for the Blovih8tion. 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 Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I've got a
Happy Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Happy Sunday to you all. I am J.R. Schwab here with Black Moses and Leak. We have a special guest in the building tonight. Q is with us.
Put the camera on. Nah.
What's good? What's good?
Q will be asking us some questions later and also Kurt to God.
Hey,
What's
running the
going
show behind the scenes.
on?
as always.
Yeah.
We're gonna do things a little different tonight, at least for the beginning part of this episode. We're gonna bring you Hoop World, the Blovih8tion. And what that is what we like to talk about all the time, our narratives. We're going to get into some narratives that I think definitely need to be touched upon for the Kings and Lakers this year. We're going to start off with the Lakers. We want to jump right into it. We want to talk later about everything. So
Let's get into it.
Let's jump right into it.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Q's going to read these questions off. I will mediate, then we'll switch it up. We're just going to let Black Moses and Leak do the Lakers questions. Kurt to God will come in, and we'll Kurt to God and I will do the Kings questions. So let's get right into it.
And this is only because there seems to be a lot of national narratives about both of these teams.
Let's be very clear. These two argue about the Lakers all the time, but what really set it off was the Kings blowout the other night.
How much did they lose by?
We're not going to get into it because I watched way too much of that game, more than I should have. And Black Moses texted me and said it's time. We need to get at the Kings on no hesi.
Well, we haven't talked about the Kings really much
We
yet.
tried to hold off. Okay.
They've been ducking that squad talk.
Yeah, they every time we bring up the Kings,
Okay, let's get into it
Schwab
because
on his bottom
you
league.
guys talking like we were going to be a playoff team and competing or something this year.
I thought they were.
You have way too high expectations.
Listen, me and Charles Barkley were ahead of that narrative.
Let's get into
Okay.
it. Q, that first question about this Los Angeles Lakers squad,
Let's get into it.
give it to us.
Should Lakers trade Randall and who for?
Well, we kind of, we kind of touched on it last week, right?
Before we start, we're going to decide who wins this narrative if they don't agree on this narrative. If you guys agree on this narrative, then we'll just nitpick. But if you guys have different stances, we're gonna pick and to let you know whose narrative we like the best.
Well, I think me and League are on the same page on this one, and we kind of touched on it last week. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I definitely think that he won't be in a Laker uniform come the end of the season. It's really just a matter of when, not if. I already said I wouldn't mind getting Jahlil Okafor, but I mean, really, any piece that can catch the ball and stretch the floor, I would be okay with, as long as it was someone I felt could fit the system that we're trying to develop. But that being said, I wouldn't be mad at Jahlil Okafor, and I got some pushback on Twitter about that. So if you're watching this episode, tell me what's wrong with Jahlil Okafor.
I gave him some pushback on the show, so I'm agreeing. You're in agreement with those Twitter fans.
It's all good. League, I'm done Blovih8tion on this.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much feel the same way. I mean, Julius Randle's looking pretty good this year. He's just not necessarily the type of player that we need going forward. His hands are small. He's not skilled around the basket. His jump shot's gotten better, but still not believable. Along with that, I have some personal gripes about when he goes for a layup, it almost feels like he's fighting in the air. So I'm over him. And
Is that because of his small hands?
Well, I think that has a lot to do with it. The small hands, the hawk. There's a couple things.
You really called that man out on his small hands.
Well,
He does have small hands.
But what does small hands got to do with anything? You can still have good hands and have small hands.
Like Leak was saying, he doesn't suck, and that's what I don't want the community to get out of this whatsoever. Right. He's not bad,
right?
But I just don't feel like he fits.
Yeah,
he wants to start, and he's not going to. I mean, they're starting Kyle Kuzma over him, which should let you know that they're obviously not confident in him.
Allow me to Blovih8 Black, because I was in mid Blovih8tion.
And I cut that off.
You did.
Okay.
All right. So, like Black was saying, Kyle Kuzma, he's starting over. And if you notice, I made the thread when Kyle Kuzma was first drafted. I said Julius Randle's replacement. Shout out to BX.
Yeah.
I said Julius Randle's replacement, and I made a thread for Kyle Kuzma. It did numbers. Go look that up if you haven't seen that. I'll let you know where the narrative's at. We were on the cutting edge at that point. With that being said,
can you go easy on the Kyle Kuzma talk? at least.
Oh, because that must be a question that's coming up.
Cal
Okay,
Kuzma's
okay,
We might
okay,
have to jump
okay,
this, but
okay,
keep it on Randall at least for now.
Okay. So yes, I'll finish.
This is why I'm a mediator right
Yes,
here to try and
that's
keep
fine.
So
this
we can
in
go
line
ahead.
a
We
little
can
bit.
get rid of Julius Randle, and we can. I wouldn't mind having Jahlil Okafor for him. I mean, we got a scorer in Kyle Kuzma, so we don't need to worry about anybody we're stressing to put up points. But we do need somebody to fill in that forward. It'd be nice if they could shoot the ball, if they got a pirouette type of game to them. So a finesse big, basically. You know what I mean? So
with the second part of that question, we're like, who else or what would you get for Julius Randle? We knew Okafor. Is there anybody else you guys
I
could think of?
mean,
not looking at salaries or anything, just somebody that
Yeah.
would be a decent trade.
I haven't thought of
I haven't
anybody
put so
right
much
off the
thought.
back. I mean, I wouldn't mind an Aaron Gordon trade. Julius Randle and Ding for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon from Orlando.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris, yeah.
Even though now that he's playing so well, I don't think the
I mean,
Pistons
Detroit
are
seems to
willing
be
to
playing
give him
well
up.
right now. They're 11 and 11.
Well, you didn't. You just asked us about players that we'd fill in.
I say Tobias Harris would be
But
another one.
But Kyle Kuzma eats
Is
Tobias
Tobias
Harris.
Harris.
Yeah, like that. Like
Right,
that's just
right,
redundant.
right. I
You know,
feel you.
and we don't need Kyle Kuzma to learn from Tobias Harris.
yeah.
We need to learn from Kobe Bryant.
Who took a couple years to catch on his own self, right?
All right, let's move it on. Do you have something else to say?
No, that's it. I mean, yeah, get rid of Julius Randle.
Okay, let's move
take
on.
Okafor and a bag of chips.
Let's move on to question number 2 because this
I'll take some
gentleman,
bubble gum for Julius.
this gentleman in question number 2 is going to be the highlight of this topic or the highlight of this Lakers topic. But Q, get into question number 2 now,
Trying
right
to
now
create
for us.
friction.
What's the reasons for Lonzo's struggles?
I'll go ahead and start on that.
Show him the jersey.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing the jersey. I've been a Lonzo fan for a minute, so and I'm gonna go ahead and set the tone with this. Listen, whatever Black's narrative is, you want to put that under a microscope, okay? Don't just react to that in a knee-jerking manner. You want to put that under a microscope. With that being said, Lonzo Ball's struggles, I believe, are directly linked to several things. One of them is his form. He brings the ball down to his hip every time he shoots it. The three ball's not falling, and it looks like the form's not working, but that's because the shot's not going. If it was going in, we wouldn't say anything about it. So Lonzo's not shooting well. Lonzo does not trust his mid-game, so he's not effective in the mid-level as well. He has a mid-game. He has the floaters. They're ugly, but he has floaters. And he's got a jump shot in there that actually looks good. The jump shot looks better than the three ball when he pulls from the mid-range, but he doesn't trust it. And then Lonzo's finishing package. Lonzo's finishing package is also in question as well. He does have a left-handed, like a reverse kind of layup that I like. But other than that, Lonzo doesn't know how to jump into the bigs to create contact and still extend himself for shots. So his free throws are horrible, and he lacks strength. But let's be very clear.
That was a lot of things just now.
Yeah. Well, he's struggling. So I said it was going to be a couple things. Though that's a list of things.
Can I
You
hop
go,
in?
hey, I'm
hop
sure
in?
listening.
So yeah. I mean that's I answered the question. Those are his struggles, I believe. Yeah.
You named a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't think we really circled around what the true issue is, which is his heart. I mean, he's literally playing with no heart right now. I mean, there's no intensity. He looks like he care less out there. And when you're playing bad, that looks way more obvious. I agree. The narrative would be completely different if he was playing well and there weren't any questions about his jump shot.
Shooting well.
We would be shooting well
because he's not playing bad.
Shooting well.
Yeah.
There would be no questions about it. We would be saying, you know, he's so even killed. You know, he doesn't get too high or too low. But the fact that his game doesn't look like it's coming along as well as we thought it would at this point, it's honestly pissing me off. It's pissing me off.
It makes you worry.
It's pissing me off.
It makes you worry.
And to culminate on top of that, the team gets into a scrum, a situation where that's where you show, you know, these are my guys. This is my franchise. Even if I'm in there just to pull guys away, like, hey, let's focus, let's get this dub.
Absolutely.
He literally ran away from that.
He didn't run away. He walked away.
He turned his back to the squad.
He didn't run away.
Okay?
He walked away. But he walked away.
Listen, I'm Blovih8tion.
I understand. Look, I was it? I don't know. 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 I digress. Go ahead. I apologize.
So that being said, I feel like, I mean, on top of that, his pops talks more for him than is necessary as well. So I mean, it's like everything surrounding.
I'm gonna stop you.
Everything surrounding the whole situation just seems like it's.
That last one was sounding like an excuse, though, and I don't know if we can accept that.
I'm not. By no means am I saying it's an excuse. I'm saying the fact that he's not playing well, all of that is it's in the
But
forefront.
hold on. Aren't we? Isn't the question? Hold on, Q. What's the question?
What's the reason for Lonzo's struggles?
His heart.
So
that's my answer.
Okay. Because you went down a dark Blovih8tion. You know? Listen.
His heart.
Okay. All right.
I mean, y'all tell me. Am I tripping? Let me know.
Let's stop right there and go on to question number 3.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite questions. This topic got brought up, I believe, yesterday within our group thread. Q, question number 3.
See, now
please.
you got us hot. Now we hot.
Oh, I'm loving every second of this.
This is what they wanted. Yeah.
I know I'm going to be in the opposite position in about 15 minutes, so
Absolutely.
let's keep going. Q, question number 3, please.
All right. Shooter pass. Do you trade Lonzo after only 15 games?
See,
Let me give a frame of reference for this question.
Why? Just let him answer it.
No, look. And when I said after only 15 games, it was
you're
brought up.
talking way too much for a Lakers segment.
I'm trying to. You wanted me to mediate. You know what? Yeah, I can get out of here. You wanted me to mediate.
Well,
All right?
we got to give you something to mediate first.
I'm just going to walk off, let y'all finish it.
Listen, that question is unrealistic.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to frame it well.
It was said,
okay?
it was spoken of yesterday, but that was out of pure emotion, okay? We all know that wasn't going to really happen.
But do you really think that they should trade Lonzo Ball?
No, I don't think they should trade Lonzo.
See,
Ball.
now we're just.
Okay.
He brings up these narratives.
All right. So let's all take a moment to take a deep breath and understand that this is where we get when we troll each other.
You know what? But
This space right here.
We might as
all
well
right?
just get rid of question number 3 then. Move on to question
I can't
number
believe
Lee,
you're.
you want-
I can't believe you're taking that serious.
Lee, do you want to speak on this topic?
I mean, yeah, I can speak on that. I don't know why. Listen, there's no
We
reason.
already know this answer.
There's no reason to trade Lonzo Ball unless we're getting, Steph Curry for him.
Now,
Other than that,
no, I'm not.
no
gonna,
reason to trade Lonzo Ball.
See, now I'm not going to allow that, but we will go to the next question.
Wait, new question number 3. What's the least amount you would take back for Lonzo Ball?
We're not talking about trading Lonzo.
Are you saying the questions for Q now?
I don't know. I'm just wondering because you slandered my question that I had. So I wondered if you guys wanted to make up your own Laker question.
Schwab, that was a bad question.
Do I get to make up my own Kings questions when you guys come with this
You know what?
hatred
You
that's
know
about
what?
to be upon us?
Q, give us.
You just gave up the whole illusion that someone else was giving. What's
Shouldn't go walk off.
what's the next question?
All right. Question number 4. Is Kyle Kuzma the best player on the Lakers right now?
Man, that was a pretty solid question.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I could blow it on that, but I mean, absolutely.
Please elaborate.
He looks like a potential Hall of Famer after 15 games. He looks like a potential All-Star.
Man, that's saying a lot.
Absolutely. Well, look what he's doing. I mean, he's averaging like 18 and like 8. He moved himself into the starting lineup. I mean,
Well, we know Alonzo ain't scoring, so somebody's got to score for that team.
yeah.
Schwab,
So anyway, yeah.
Hey, if you want me to do it, I'm going to have these type of comments.
See, Schwab.
This is the Blovih8tion. I'm giving it to him right now.
So yeah, Kyle Kuzma. Anyway, Kyle Kuzma is definitely the best player. He's got the repertoire. He's got the height. He's got the stroke from deep. He's doing it in multiple ways. How you want it. I mean, yeah. So I would say so.
Yeah, I'd also say that as well. I mean, he seems like the most confident and competent offensive player on our team. I would still say that. I mean, obviously, he has work to do on his game defensively. I would like to see him give I mean, he's giving effort, but I
I'm not worried about that.
I'm not really
I guess
worried
you
about
could
that.
just say.
We can nitpick
do you
his
need,
game
Do you
if we
need
want.
something to say? Let's talk about his defense.
I will say I like his mental.
Yeah.
I mean, he's ready to. I mean, he tried to body Joel Embiid the other night. So me seeing those types of things, I'm very confident with Kyle Kuzma moving forward. And I mean, by no means am gonna act like I was on the Kyle Kuzma wave before anybody else. But what he showed me on the squad up to this point is giving me the confidence that we can trust in Kyle Kuzma. We can trust his process. So I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
Question 5.
Besides Randall and Lonzo, who else do you want to get rid of?
You're just trying to incite Lonzo at this point.
Okay, I'm not even getting.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just go.
I'll go. Leave, that's cool.
Go ahead, yeah.
I mean, Luau Deng.
Was what I was looking for. Was trying to be tied in with everything else about who you guys wanted to get rid of, and apparently one was just a
But
troll
you
job.
didn't have to throw a zone there. That killed it.
It was part of all the questions. It was part of the, and all of a sudden apparently it was a troll job. But anyways, I digress. Go on.
Optimistically, the goal would be to package Julius Randle and Luau Deng and get rid of them at once.
Yep.
Which would kill two birds with one stone, so to speak, right?
And get a player that can play with Lonzo and Bron in return.
And possibly get like a second round pick or something out of that. You know what I mean? Like finesse another pick out of it. You know, you can never. What Danny Ainge just showed us is you can never have too many.
Did
picks.
you say Braun?
Yeah, I did. Oh, you didn't know?
Elaborate on that narrative.
Oh, you didn't know?
Let's save that narrative for the after
Oh,
the
look.
after party.
I'll leave that for the end credit scenes. The end credit
For the
narrative.
deleted narratives.
All right. So those are the 5 questions.
Who do
you
you
answer?
want to get rid of?
Oh, yeah, Luau Deng. I mean, that's it. Perfect. So whoever we got to package.
So we're
to
pretty
do
much
that.
aligned.
Yeah, I would say
you know,
so. I mean, really, the only difference is
Lonzo
is
If you guys can see this troll work that goes on,
the only difference is you.
look at Kurt's agreeing with me right now.
Listen.
These guys been at each other's throats the last 3 days about this stuff.
All we have to do, bro.
And we're all good friends, Lakerland.
Listen.
Put it on
Black.
for the people.
Black.
Yeah,
All
what
we
are we,
have to-
7-9 right
Black.
now?
All we have to do, Black.
I mean, we're not
Way
gonna
better
jump-
than I thought you guys would be.
We're not
I thought
gonna
you guys would
jump
be
on-
2-12 right now.
Can I cap up my bloviation? That's all I want to do.
Cap away.
Can I round off my bloviation? Like all we have to do. This is simply all we have to do. Is the mic on? Trust the process. That's it.
I guess so.
That's
yeah.
it. We've got a championship caliber point guard. We know that. It's going to take him a while, but when he does figure it out, I mean, he's going to keep the thing moving like it's nobody's business.
How long is he gonna take?
I don't know.
How long are we gonna give him?
I don't know.
How
I
long
don't
we
know.
gonna give him?
Well, we got to
That's
give him.
the
We
real
got to give him
question.
at least 3 years.
As we end this.
At least 3 years.
Because obviously there's clearly a disconnect with the feelings on Lonzo.
At least
so
3
how
years.
much time are
No,
we
no,
gonna
no, no.
give
You
him?
feel it. You just don't trust it.
I definitely don't trust
That's
it.
what it is.
When
That's
you,
all it is.
when you
yeah.
walk away from a scrum,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like you're not doing
Hey,
yourself any favors.
I
that's
guess.
for sure.
I guess. Well, if you, I would also say you got to think about it from his perspective as well.
He's not trying to mess up his money.
Well, I wouldn't say it's so much that. Also, he's not playing well either. So the last thing that's on his mind is getting in a scuffle. He need to hit a shot.
The first thing I would be doing is getting energy from that. Honestly,
Yeah.
that might give you energy.
Yeah, he's not really that type of player to dive in something like that though.
Yeah, he doesn't really show a lot of energy.
Nah, he shows energy. He showed it tonight. He definitely put out enough energy, you know.
Well, he knew this was coming.
Well, absolutely. He knew there was Blovih8tion coming.
He knew
But,
that everybody was gonna be talking about him
yeah.
and what was going on.
So at will he could drop a triple dub and it's
Just make sure
it is
that
what it is.
hammy's ready by Wednesday. He's not sitting out.
Hey, and Schwab, by the way, just to let the people know, I'll have garlic parmesan and original hot since I beat you in
Hey,
fantasy. This
and what
week.
is Wednesday? What is just so the people know?
I believe it's Lakers Kings Wednesday.
Ooh.
Well, are you going to the Willie Cauley-Stein all white lituation
Don't
that
know
I
what
sent
that
you?
is.
No, I'm not. I won't be going to that.
Kurt the God, are you making your way this way?
Are we
the
starting
Kings
on the King?
portion?
Are you guys done with your Laker Blovih8tion?
Yeah, we're done.
Well,
Blovih8tion?
I'll end it on this. As for now, I'm not rocking with Lonzo Ball, and I'm gonna put myself right in front of that gun.
All right.
So please get at me
Yeah.
if you feel like I'm going too far.
Your narratives didn't feel that conclusive. Then after all said and done,
He
So-
solidified
So
that the other night.
do we have a who decides the winner and the loser of the narrative?
there was no winner or loser because everything got thrown out the window.
There's
With the one bad
so because
question.
it gets thrown out the window, the whole winner and loser thing just does as well.
I mean, you guys pretty much agreed on everything. Unless Q is picking.
Or
Q?
maybe we should ask if the people have any say on that.
Do the people have a winner?
Not as of right now. No. I have to leave that to the end. But if you want an objective opinion, Q might be the way to go.
I don't think we need to pick a winner. You guys were all shaking hands and in agreement with the Lakers. It was no. I thought all five of my questions I would have at
what it
least
really comes down
3
to
to
is
4
Lonzo
differences.
take.
Listen. I know. Yeah. Who's right? Who's wrong on Alonzo?
Whose
That's
Lonzo
what-
take is more
I
official?
can't do that because I agree with him and I don't agree with you just because I don't like Lonzo, so I can't make that decision.
Listen, I don't hate
That's a
Lonzo.
good thing that you know that.
I don't hate Lonzo.
That's a good thing that you know. The fact that you agree with him lets you know that you
Q's-
cannot make that decision.
okay,
Because
Q-
even you know Lonzo is gonna be that dude.
I don't think he's going to be a championship caliber point guard if you want to go there with it.
Q, go ahead.
So after tallying up the votes, I'm gonna have to give it to Lee.
Is there a reason? We got a reason for that?
The reason is my Blovih8tion was more potent. My Blovih ball was more potent.
Hey, I'm gonna need y'all on this end. I'm gonna need y'all to you know what I'm saying, put some energy out there and show me some love for my take tonight. I thought I did a great job.
Listen to you like whining over
Dog.
there right now.
I mean, I don't agree with the vote, but
Listen,
you know.
All right,
Just take
we're
that L, bro.
You know what? We're gonna switch this up real quick.
Yeah.
Kirk the God's gonna come over here. We're gonna do our Kings questions real fast. Give us 2.5. Let's do this.
And I'll just say I can't wait for this.
Are we switching Swab? All right.
Oh, this is a completely new angle. I don't know how I feel about this. This feels different.
Swab, you kept it nice and warm for me.
I know I did. Move that closer. These Kings questions better be good.
So
I already
now-
got chided for my Lakers questions.
We're bringing in our boy Kurt. This is Kurt. He's not usually on the camera. He's usually behind the scenes. But Kings fan, as you can see. Swab, Kings fan, as you can see. Both of them represent. Black's the only one that does not have any material.
He doesn't want any affiliation with this
fan
squad.
tag, all right. So we're gonna get these 5 questions in, you know, and may the best narrative win. All right, Q. Question number 1, please.
First question: should Coach DJ be on the hot seat?
Curtis,
Who got
we'll
first?
start with you.
No, not the hot seat, but in question, absolutely. Got to question some of the lineup choices. Even at this point, got to question some of the rookies not playing a little bit more. I would say especially Frank Mason, because it seems majority of the time when he gets in, he's pretty effective, and he's been a part of the second unit that kind of gets the job done and fills in the gap for what our starters don't provide on offense and defense. So hot seat, no. Questioning even half of the choices that he makes, absolutely.
Okay, Swab.
He's nowhere near the hot seat for me, but I also, I was thinking about it the other day. I question some of the things that happen, but I don't question the choices that he makes just because we all knew this was going to be a bad year. This was going to be a bad team. They were going to figure stuff out. I never had any high expectations for him, so maybe I was different, but everything that I've seen so far has not led me wrong from what I thought it was going to be. There's been some poor performances for sure, people that I've been frustrated with, people that I didn't think was going to be that good that have shown me they're not, that at least so far, are not playing that well. Well, we might have to get into that later. I can Blovih8 myself on that later.
Okay. All right. So you're both in agreement that Jaeger should not be on the hot seat, but there are questionable decisions.
Look,
that are being made.
if Dave Yeager's on the hot seat and he ends up getting fired in the next year or two, I will seriously question my fandom for my team because I am sick of new coaches. We've had 10 new coaches in the last 8 years, and it needs to be done.
You would
with.
rather just not have one. All right. Q. Question
Go
number
back to
2,
Jerry
please.
Reynolds coaching this team.
Oh, stop it, Schwab. We got to draw a line somewhere, okay?
All right. Should the Kings be concerned about Trilly?
No, we shouldn't be concerned about Trilly.
hold
Oh, Schwab's going
We're
first?
gonna let Schwab
Oh,
move
okay,
on.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want me to go
We
first
might have
on
wanted
this
him
one.
to go last, but why not?
Schwab?
Well, hey, could I just say he's averaging 9 and 7 right now.
Okay.
I'll just throw that out.
Good facts. Good facts. Fact checking. I like it.
What was the question again, just so I can make sure
the
I get this?
King-
Just trying to make sure I get this Blovih8tion correct right now.
Should the Kings be concerned about Trilly?
Yes, they should. And you know what? The effort doesn't concern me all the time because it looks like he's at least playing out there most of the time. What concerns me is it seems like his head is just not fully in with basketball right now. He's
Explain,
concerned
please.
about other things. He's concerned about going to the clubs and making music or doing art, which I'm fine with. It's all good. You have your hobbies and things away from basketball. We're playing in NBA right now. We're not playing in some hokey pokey league, like some G League or something like that. He's not down there, putting up whatever numbers. He's in the NBA right now, and he's more worried about what's going on in other things. And then all of a sudden he shows up for 3 or 4 games and he puts up 20 and 10, like someone said predicted he might average this season, which I thought might have been kind of crazy. But he has those great games and then disappears for 3 or 4 games. What Willie Cauley-Stein needs to do. Forget the offensive game. Focus on running the floor and being, not I want to say the next DeAndre Jordan, but a DeAndre Jordan mold. Catch the lobs, dunk the ball. You can shoot better free throws than him. So at the end of the day,
Get some rebounds.
You still have a leg up on DeAndre Jordan. You can block the ball just as good as him. You should be able to. And I knew you could rebound like that in college, but apparently you can't do it in the NBA for some reason. Sorry, I'm getting real into it. This has been brewing for some time because y'all, if you followed Be Clear, you knew I was a Willie Cauley-Stein stan forever. But anyways,
So they should be worried about. They should be worried.
they
about
should be concerned.
Okay.
I digress. Kurt to God. Move it on.
I got a little. I felt like I was like a purge. I feel better for you, no? I mean, I've been pent up because of how much you've been pent up
The
about Willie
demon is
Cauley-Stein.
off
I
my
feel
chest
better.
now.
Yeah.
It's like just lifted off my shoulders.
I don't even know if I need to.
No hezzy exorcism.
I don't even know if I want to Blovih8 just to in fear I step on your clarity right now.
That's what this whole narrative. This is what Hoop World's all about, baby.
Yeah, I mean, we get it all out in the hoop world. You know what I mean? I'm gonna allow me to put my Bernard on real quick and accurately Blovih8 on this here question.
Hey, Curtis,
Yes,
I understand.
yes.
Because Swab, he was, that was, we all could see that was a release, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously.
That was cathartic.
So with that being said, I do not want us to, give Schwab, a pacifier with forming narratives. Please, by all means,
Okay.
Blovih8.
I shall Blovih8. Here we are. Should the Kings be worried about Willie Trill, Cauley-Stein? Absolutely not. No, there's nothing to worry about. No. We don't have to worry about him. Put him on the block. You don't worry about people that are on the block. And I don't mean the low post either. I mean that one where someone packs their bags and moves.
Are you suggesting that the Kings, they shouldn't worry about Willie Cauley-Stein because they should just
Let it go.
Okay.
Just like Frozen. Just let him go. There's nothing to worry about here. It just didn't work. Okay?
I really hope
That's-
one of these next questions are about
that's a
Buddy or
strong
Scout.
take,
Let's
Curtis.
just put it that way.
That's a strong take. Can you elaborate on reasons why you feel so inclined to just let it
absolutely. I didn't think you would ask. Reason number one, to Schwab's point, he looks lost out there. The main Dave Yeager gets the tag of being a defensive-minded coach. First of all, Dave Yeager has gone on record to say that he inherited a defensive-minded team from Lionel Hollins. Dave Yeager is actually a very decent X's and O's guy. Draws some of the best plays out of timeouts if you actually watch them clearly. And it has a very actually effective defensive system. But if you'll notice, when we start the offense, most of the time it breaks down at the pick and roll part. And who's the guy setting the pick? Willie Cauley-Stein. You'll see the ball swing over in his direction. You'll see them call for the pick, and he'll literally look at the point guard and then look at the other wing player and then look at his man and kind of look back at the point guard like, is this the part where I pick and roll, or is this the part where I pick and pop? I'm just going to go put my body there and roll off and try to shoot the J, as he so eloquently puts. That's one thing. The other thing is, yeah, he has way too much focus on extracurricular things. I admire how much of a creative mind he is and kind of how he gets introspective and really deep in thought when he's asked questions. He doesn't just blurt stuff out. He'll take a moment and think about it. I appreciate that. He thinks too much. He overthinks. And once you get your main job down, your bread and butter, the reason why people even care about who you are outside of your family, get that down, then be like Mamba and drop a bad hip-hop album. That was a little goat hate. I apologize. I am a Kings fan, but
It was bad.
yeah, I know. But the main thing is he's got to get out of this whole thing that I can be more than what I am right now. He needs to put that on pause. Be that later. Right now, just grab us some rebounds, make people change their shots, and
I won't lie.
That's it.
I didn't think the hate was the hate was going to be that emphasized in that Blovih8tion just now.
Now, Curtis, if I'm not mistaken, just your Blovih8tion is just so interesting. So I just want to get a little clarity.
Yeah.
You actually had an interaction with.
I did.
Okay.
I feel like this has been a loaded question from the beginning.
Tell the people about that. Tell the community about that interaction.
Full transparency, I can't cover for this guy. There was a post online that we was promoting one of his guys' hip hop albums, and I saw a tagline that said, and keep it's paraphrasing here because I don't have the quote in front of me, but keep it up, my killer, or keep it going, my killer, an encouragement. But that had my killer in it. I had to write a reply. I said, hey, let's be careful about the words that we're using in the company that we keep. You got a whole city that's counting on you. And I'm not even talking about your family and your friends. I'm just talking about your fans. Like, we are counting on you.
Specifically the kids.
Specifically the kids. So, just kind of watch that. He did reply and respond by saying, I'm just talking about some guys that are killing beats and tracks. Kind of gave the look away eyes and then had tagged his guys whose album he was promoting. Now, and to that degree, the guy did come behind and liked my comments as well as Trilly's. So, it did seem like at the end it was on the up and up. And I wrote back and I said, hey, I just want to make sure that we're keeping things positive. We're on the up and up. I got a lot of respect for your game and your creative side, and I just want to make sure that we keeping it all love. Let's keep it going. But just the fact that I had to do that, and I'm not even a guy to really go on social media and be active like that, that concerns me. That's very troubling. I see way too many posts about him doing a special event with VSP, him doing some sort of club promotion and all that. Well, I can't even get you to consistently give effort and box people out. Right. You're 7'2". There should be no reason why you're averaging the amount of rebounds that you're averaging. That's my Blovih8tion, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Quite a
I had no idea that all happened, by the way.
Well, we're all enlightened.
I had no idea that whole interaction happened.
Q, you should show
Question 3. Can Trilly and Scal coexist?
Okay. Suave. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and have you hold on until after Curtis hands his second Blovih8tion in a row. We call this a back-to-back.
Well, yes, of course. Allow me to get my Arnold on. This is Westworld, after all. We create our own narratives. Can they coexist? Absolutely. Yeah. In a parallel universe that we don't all live in.
Will they? No.
Thank you, Schwab. We call that an assist here in King's World, what Schwab just did. We don't get a lot of those around here, so I'll take it. That's my Blovih8tion, and I'm sticking to it. Schwab.
Why?
Why? It's a very good question. For the simple fact of Willie Cauley-Stein does not consistently give enough effort and doesn't really want to play defense. And let's just face it. I mean, our own coach pretty much called out our whole team, and I know he had a special emphasis on Scal when he said, you know, you could be a nice guy and still be competitive. I think that was a knock to. I mean, we're known of almost kind of having the God squad. We put an emphasis on high character guys, right? Well, I really like that. De'Aaron Fox has an incredible head on his shoulders, very positive guy. Justin Jackson, known Christian man, extremely positive kid, low key. Scal BCR, same thing. Known as a Christian man, extremely good kid. Buddy Hield, a little bit more on the exotic side, but known Christian man, very positive. All these guys, we're just going to call it like DJ said, they're too nice. They need some dirt on their jerseys. They need some blood on their hands. And so Scal is too soft and doesn't want to be aggressive consistently and just push somebody around. He'd rather just let them push him around and just go back up the court. And Willie Cauley-Stein will not give enough consistent defense, nor does he get mean down in the paint. Nobody respects Scal or Willie Cauley-Stein whatsoever in the paint.
Okay. So,
Blovih8tion complete.
so Kurt believes that they not only cannot, but they will not coexist.
Well, can.
Can,
But-
but they won't.
Correct.
Partly because of his first Blovih8tion.
There's so much vitriol in these words right now. Like,
He seems very,
deep,
very serene about all this. You know,
I feel like Jason is just stabbing the knife over and over and over right now.
I've made peace with this reality.
Swab, Ken, Trilly, and well, actually, look, Q, just go ahead and ask the question again. I like the way it sounds when it comes from you. It has a lot more context.
Can Trilly and Scal coexist?
The long and short of it, Willie Cauley-Stein can coexist with Scal or a Scal type player. Scal cannot coexist with Willie Cauley-Stein because Scal is at least what it looks like to me right now, because of the lack of effort and everything that Kurt is talking about, is a horrible player. He was very slow and clunky. He cannot get his shot off fast enough, and he hasn't shown a three-point repertoire. What is this new NBA? That point, or not the point four, but the three-point shooting four. You need that guy that can hit the three. What does Scal do? He does not hit the three. He barely hits the little half hooks in the lane. And like I said, he looks very clunky on his turnaround jumpers. And I'm not digging this high arc shot he's got. It scares me a lot of the time when he's shooting. Yes, he's got a great game. It looks great. He finesses around the court and everything. But the game that he's showcasing now, what I've seen so far, cannot coexist with what Willie Cauley-Stein should be, or for them to coexist together. All right?
Okay.
Black Moses is not liking this Blovih8tion over here right now. I'm getting pushed back from the only man not on the camera.
I just have a question. One question to add to your Blovih8tion. You stated that Scal pretty much plays like a. It seems like you were alluding to him playing a mid-range game in a sense, right? You talked about his jump shot. You talked about him not being able to shoot the three, but you talked about his jump shot often, his eye arcing. So I'm assuming you're speaking on a mid-range game.
Mid-range game is dead. It needs to die.
Okay, that's your opinion. But with that being said, if Scal's focus is on a mid-range area, and Willie's focus would obviously be around the hoop, playing above the rim, being that he's an athletic 7'2" guy. Tell us again on why they wouldn't be able to coexist, skill set wise.
Can they hear me?
Yeah. It's not so much that they're listen, I'm not even letting you go right now.
Let me get this in. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna say too much. What it sounds like from a listener is that Schwab has a Willie narrative and Scal doesn't fit that narrative, so he's the one that's not playing.
Look, if you haven't been listening or you don't know, if you don't know, I've always, and let it be known that I like Willie Cauley-Stein. I've always liked his game, or what should be his game. All of a sudden, this year, this offensive repertoire is coming out, and that version of Willie, no, is not conducive with Scal, because that would be making the same player. They're taking the same shots. Like, if you're running the ball through Willie Cauley-Stein, you might as well run the ball through Scal and have him shoot that mid-range game that he's supposedly so good at, that everyone loves, that I don't understand, because apparently I'm the only one that doesn't see that being productive
And
for this NBA.
And just for the record, which one would you prefer, long term?
I'm taking Willie Cauley-Stein over Scal all day, every day.
Okay, all right.
And nobody can sway me any differently.
That's fine. All right.
Scal Labissières are a dime a dozen in the NBA right now. You can find them everywhere.
Okay. All right. And Q?
Oh. With Bogdan averaging 8 and shooting 29% from the 3, what are your thoughts?
Hurt.
Absolutely. Just flat out not having a good start. But I believe, Bogdan's one of those cerebral players. I mean, we've seen what he can do. We've seen what he did for Fenerbahce. I know I Fenerbahced that name, but Fibonacci. Thank you.
Actually, I don't think that's it either.
You know what? The Fibber jump. We have a somewhat of an affiliate who has played on a team.
Friend. Shout out to James Nunley.
James Nunley.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for James Nunley. Won a ring with Bogdan out there. Also, Bogdan willed his Serbian team onto the finals where they got taken out by very hot-handed Goran Dragic. So he has what it takes to multiple times get there and get the job done. But with him being such a high IQ player, I noticed that so many of the newer players, or even some of the vets, playing a more low IQ game, he's kind of played down almost to our team's level. I feel like he's like some of those players where you put him on a better squad, he plays above where he's currently at. You put him on a lower squad, he'll play down to the floor. So that's my main thing with him, and I will give Bogdan this credit. He continues to shoot as he should, but he doesn't just get it and immediately just try to shoot it. He's not chucking. He shoots the open shots when he should, and when he doesn't, he actually tries to facilitate the offense and he keeps the ball moving. So that's my narrative.
With that being said, a lot of things that you say, it sounds like you're also describing another first-year NBA player right now as well. It sounds like you're talking. It almost sounds identical to the criticism on Lonzo Ball. So with that being said, hold on. Hey, you relax, okay? You take a Blovih8 pill and you relax.
Now, with being the mediator is killing
with that
me
being
right
said,
That doesn't fit. Lonzo, everybody on the Lakers is playing better than Lonzo
agree.
Ball.
what you're saying, you're talking about how he's a high IQ player. He's struggling. He's trying to get the offense going, and he's he's had success before.
You have to switch mediation.
You telling me I'm crazy when I say you always try and throw Alonzo Ball into the conversation?
I'm just saying.
I can't believe somehow I got wedged into Alonzo Ball comparison.
You can talk about my love for Lonzo, but you can't deny that. I mean, what he was saying.
I completely disagree because let me Blovih8 for a second. And I'm gonna Blovih8 now, especially on Lonzo Ball in this comparison. It's completely different at least for me in the first off. This was a rookie that was just traded. It was a rights. Okay, they didn't draft this guy. It was rights they ended up getting for him. There was no expectation for him to come in and be an all-world killer like there was for Lonzo to go into the Lakers and be an all-world killer. To me, it's just two completely different situations.
While you casually state the differences, I'm just telling you that what he said sounds similar to the criticism of Lonzo. Now, you can say the differences. You can Blovih8 on that and waste your breath. We all know the differences. I'm just saying what he was saying sounded similar to Lonzo's criticism.
I see how these tides change with the oppressor.
I haven't heard any narratives that sound anywhere close to that.
The oppressee now.
No, it's just
My
what you were just
my
saying.
narrative has been completely oppressed.
I'm not going to play this ball dominant game. That Leak is trying to pass on us.
Do you want to know the comparison for what Bogdan Bogdanovic right now? Scal Labissière last year is a great comparison.
I want to know what
we're going to have with them.
The question is, what do you think about him averaging 8 points a game and shooting 29%?
It was about what I expected. Did I expect him to come in here and average 15 a game and shoot the lights out 50% for the game every single night? No way. No way. I didn't even think he'd be starting at this point. I thought he'd still be coming off the bench, playing 15 minutes a game. He's playing big minutes, handling the ball, bringing it up the court. I'm at least somewhat impressed. I watched a lot of Serbian games, and he did the same sort of stuff. Exactly. He was shooting a lot more because they didn't have at least as much overall basketball talent on those squads as an NBA team does. Let's be very clear about that. Because for as bad as the Kings are, there's at least a lot of talent on the squad. But by the same token, I'm completely not impressed by what he's doing. But there will be a night sometime soon where he catches fire and will go off for 25, possibly maybe even 30 points and hit 5 threes. That will happen. If we're 60 games into the season and he's now dipped to 4 points a game and only playing 11 minutes a night and showing no effort, then yeah, I got a problem. But right now, I'm cool with him. Got no problems with it.
I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna do a quick thing. I'm gonna take 2 to 3 minutes. I don't normally get on the camera, but there's been a narrative about Bogdan that I've been passing along the MVP that I want to share. A lot of people, I'm going to take 3 minutes. I'm going to knock this out quick. This is to your point. You brought up the fact that we inherited his rights. With that pick that we had, that year, we took, who did we take?
We drafted Chris for the Suns.
Yeah, and then who was our pick that we ended up getting?
Oh, we got Papagiannis.
Georges Papagiannis.
And Scal.
Well, Scal was we traded back.
We
to
got two
two
first
picks,
round picks.
right?
We had 2 picks and Bogdan.
Right,
The
Papagiannis.
rights to Bogdan.
So many people are worried about Papagiannis and that he's pretty much not going to be anything at all. But I think a lot of people missed something that I caught. I think Vlade Divac has had his eye on Bogdan Bogdanovic a lot earlier than everybody else did. I actually believe that Bogdan Bogdanovic was the goal of making that trade. I don't believe it was to get Georges Papagiannis. That's why everybody was shocked. I think we took him because it didn't make sense to take any other player unless we were going to get him and trade him, because we needed a big, especially since Willie didn't look like he was already figuring it out back then. Notice we still got Harry Giles. Again, that's because we see Willie Cauley-Stein still hadn't figured things out. Vlade Divac is from Serbia. There was a Serbian player that had come over, or maybe Croatian, I forget specifically, that had come over a long time ago and was supposed to be the GOAT Euro player back in the late 80s, early 90s, and that was Dražen Petrovic. That was one of Vlade's best friends. There's a 30 for 30 that Vlade did about Dražen. Dražen unfortunately passed away in his prime when he was literally going at our GOAT MJ in the Olympics, as well as when he was playing for the Nets. Dražen could facilitate an offense with the ball, could shoot lights out way far beyond what most people were shooting the three-pointer at that time in the NBA. So much of Dražen's game is paralleled in what we saw the height of Bogdan Bogdanovic being. I believe low-key below everybody's radar, that's really who Vlade wanted when we made that trade. I don't believe it was to get Georges Papagiannis. I believe he saw Bogdan, and he did everything that he had to make that. Everything else, as far as us turning 1 pick into 3 and whatnot, and then trading Bellinelli to get Richardson, that was all just icing on the cake, because really he wanted Bogdan. So I think there's a little more internal expectations on Bogdan than there is external expectations, but I just wanted everybody to kind of look below that and definitely watch that 30 for 30 when Vlade goes back to his hometown and talks about Tony Kukoc and has interviews with all those players, and it's all about Dražen and his life.
And let's be very clear, there's been very few players to come in from Euroball and immediately make an impact or come in and be like an all-world stud. I mean, there's only been, at least in the last 10, 15 years, maybe 5 that have come in and been decent. Maybe only 1 or 2 that have been all-stars.
Yeah.
Porzingis,
Yep,
yeah, he's
the
the only one I
unicorn.
really think of right now. Nobody else, besides maybe a Giannis, but Giannis wasn't even playing top-tier basketball in Greece. He wasn't playing for any big teams. He just came in.
there's a lot of potential.
So, like, really, Porzingis is the only one in the last, like, at least the last 5-6 years that's come
Sarge
in.
isn't doing too bad, but he's not
But yeah,
all-star level.
that would be a good example of a guy coming in and is playing well from Euroball like that immediately.
Makes sense.
Even Mirotic got a good first season.
Yeah, he
Just
did.
kind of fell off from there.
Yeah.
But yes, cute.
Now he's a little under the weather.
What's the deal with Buddy Hield, and do you have a better option?
That's such a loaded question. I
That
did that twice.
that kind of plays into the things that we're.
Can you Blovih8tion us on what that question was supposed to be? What number is this, by the way? 4? This is 5. This is the last question.
Can you read that again, Q?
All right. What's the deal with Buddy Hield, and do you have a better option?
What is the deal with Buddy Hield?
I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the second part of the
And do
question.
you
What do
have
you
a
mean?
better option? Well, well, is Buddy Hield playing well?
In what sense?
In your sense, from a Kings fan, is Buddy Hield playing well?
if he's if he's starting, at least what he's shown from this year for him starting, he's not. No, he's not playing well. If he's coming off the bench role, yes, he has somewhat played well. I wasn't mad at his production off the bench. He's not playing well right now because he's injured, or he's got injured the other night. But we don't talk about injuries, so I won't bloviate everybody about his injury or what's going to happen from here on out. As far as the other part of the question, which was the more of the loaded part of it, who do I want instead of him? There's a lot of guys I would like instead of him.
No.
Are we getting into like what I was saying about who would I trade for him?
No. Listen. Relax.
I'm just trying to figure out where you were going with this narration.
Specifically, do you have a better option?
Is there a better
Already
option
on the squad? Yeah.
So it seems like Buddy Hill's play, you're not really mad at it,
I think
right?
the better option already usurped him in Bogdan Bogdanovic, what we just talked about, because he's obviously starting right now.
Blovih8, please.
I just think, look, okay, we're going to get into my deep Buddy Hield hate right now.
Blovih8.
He just flipped that switch on me just now. I got to do it.
Like that get out, that
Look.
Blovih8. like what you see.
I'll sing.
Buddy Hield to me has shades of somebody said Adam Morrison for somebody else the other day, but that guy that was in college that scored all these points, went 4 years, was a college player of the year and all this. Jimmer Fredette, that's another good example right there. College player of the year on every All-American team. I've never seen anything in Buddy's game that says what you guys always talk about Lonzo being that killer. If you want to make a Lonzo Ball reference, Buddy doesn't have that instinct. He doesn't have what Black Moses likes to call that Mamba instinct. He doesn't have it, all right? And I don't know if it's just me seeing the eye test, but just because he was the main piece in the DeMarcus Cousins trade doesn't mean that's what's gonna that is the. I just can't handle Buddy Hield. I just don't think he's going to be the two guard that everyone thinks he's going to be. Do I think he can be the sixth man? I have no problem with him being the sixth man on the team from here on out on this squad. If that's what happens, I'm fine with it. He does not need to be starting anymore. I'll say that much. Okay. Garrett Temple's doing a better job starting than him, and Garrett Temple wouldn't start on a lot of teams in the league right now.
So you do prefer Bogdan over Buddy?
Yeah, I take Bogdan over Buddy.
Okay, and
might as well put De'Aaron in there over Buddy if you're gonna do that. Might as well start George Hill at the 2.
Q, could you ask the question again? That way, Kurt can be refreshed with what Blovih8tion is we're looking for.
What's the deal with Buddy Hield, and do you have a better option?
The deal with Buddy Hield is we found a better place for him in our current rotation. That's the deal with him. We started him. It wasn't really working out. Dave Yeager had him come off the bench. He had a good game and literally said, I think coach made the right decision on having me come off of the bench. That's the deal with Buddy Hield. Schwab doesn't like him because he doesn't play good defense. That's all that it really is. At the end of the season last year, he was shooting a 3 out of the last 25 games he had for us. Everybody was starting to, Buddy Hield, maybe he's in the right place. Maybe Vivek was on to something. He ain't Steph Curry, put the pipe down, but maybe Vivek did see something. As far as like getting him back for Cousins and Tyreek Evans and Langston Galloway that we did, along with the pick that we ended up turning into 2 other picks, which we got Justin Jackson and Harry Giles as almost a free pick. I think was just a really good GM move. But Buddy Hield in place of DeMarcus Cousins wasn't that Buddy Hield was going to make up for DeMarcus Cousins' production. It was just that we didn't want to be strapped to a guy with the $209 million max contract bomb on him that never won us more than 35 games in the season. So take DeMarcus Cousins out of the whole Buddy Hield conversation. Buddy Hield on his own, where it stands this season, is exactly where he needs to be. It's unfortunate that he rolled his ankle right now, but once we had him coming off the bench, he was doing exactly what we kind of needed from someone. He wasn't doing below what we needed, and he definitely wasn't doing it above, with the exception of like a few quarters. So is there a better option on the team for where we have Buddy Hield right now and what we have him doing? No, there's not a better option. I think Bogdan should continue to start. I don't think Garrett Temple should start. Garrett Temple's not playing really good for us right now. He plays good defense, but he had 1, maybe 2 good games and has completely disappeared. But let's not mess up. Let's not switch 2 guys and mess up one guy when we can. One guy, you figure it out, and the other guy, we have you in the right place. Keep Buddy Hield coming off the bench. If Buddy Hield only ends up being our 6th man, Right now, we just need to find guys that can do the role or like fill our needs. If he ends up being a 6-man, every team needs a 6-man and come off the bench and get you buckets. I'm fine with it. And I'm fine with Bogdan being our starting 2. He just needs to figure it out a little bit more. He's just not playing well right now, but it's so early. Like, our team's not playing well.
Can I bloviate further on Buddy Hield real quick?
Yes, because he actually did not answer the first part of the question.
What was the first part of the question?
What's going on with Buddy Hield? So let's enter his.
Is that the question, Q? What's going on
What's
with
the
Buddy
deal
Hield?
with Buddy Hield, and do you have a better option?
Too. You guys came together on this. What do you mean? What's going on with him?
Schwab, as a Kings fan, I was able to answer the question. I know you don't like that he doesn't play defense, but
I don't think he's gonna be that good. I don't think he should be on the team. I don't want him on the team. I mean, I think that was pretty close to obvious.
Roll the presses. Hit record. Go ahead, Schwab. Elaborate. Hey,
listen. We talk about that we have all these rookies on the team, or even like you see guys, you're only gonna have one stud out of this crop of guys we have on this team, or maybe 2 that are still gonna be with this team in 4 to 5 to 6 years if we end up making a playoff run or whatever we do. There's only been a couple guys left, and let me be very, very clear with you. Buddy Hield is not one of those 1 or 2 guys that will be there at the end or that will bring us to the promised land or wherever we need to go. By all means, you don't need to cut ties with them right now or trade the man for whatever. But when his contract's up, I would think long and hard about whatever they're thinking about keeping him around. They want to have it end up paying him all that money to be their 2 guard or whatever of the future. I would not be happy with that 2 guard of the future if that ends up being the case.
Were you satisfied with Ben McLemore?
Extra question.
I'm not answering that question because you already know my feelings on that.
Fine. You don't have to. That's fine. That was my personal collection.
That was some straight hate right there.
All right, and that would be all 5, right, Q? Okay. So
What are we at time-wise right now? I'm not even keeping track. I'm all out of my moderation.
I'm just glad that we were able to get through our bloviations. I think we all, especially Suave, you needed that. And if you need somebody to talk to afterwards,
If anybody knows a good therapist, just let me know.
All right. So are we gonna rotate it back?
well, before we do,
Yeah.
maybe we should have Q let
Oh
us know who.
yeah. We gotta know whose bloviation was more dominant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna have to get it to Black.
Well, we're gonna take your opinion, Black. But I'm gonna just let you know right now. That way you don't get it twisted. Your opinion will not be the all be all. All right. So with that being said, bloviate on the bloviation.
Yeah, that's good.
So, from my perspective, I would have to say Kurt, just based off the fact that he actually answered the questions and didn't just go on a bloviation tangent.
Y'all wonder why I sit in the middle and do this and like make them bloviate around me and I just incite the fire? Because I'd rather ask the question than answer the question, all right?
I will say this. You did, like, the last question, and then, there were a few questions where you did bring it back home.
Don't give me the pity. Don't give me the pity.
I'm not going to knock you for that. But Kurt was definitely very concise with his answers. So for that, I would have to give Kurt the edge on that. But
Kurt, I hate you for that trade. Willie Cauley-Stein bull.
It's all right, my friend.
I'm actually gonna,
I still love you.
Q, I'm gonna. Q,
We bleed purple around here.
I'm gonna. Can you get that to Q?
Willie Cauley-Stein.
And Q, I'm gonna let you get to your results in a moment, but I do want to say that Black, you did inspire me because I also believe that Kurt would take that bloviation contest simply because he held it together.
Making me seem like a crazy person right now.
Unfortunately, you weren't able to do that. So
Couldn't contain yourself.
Where's my hoodie? I'm taking my Kings. I'm taking my Kings. Give me my hoodie.
No. You've gotten to such a good place.
yeah,
Allow the catharsis to settle in.
Listen, you did not win the match, but what you got was much more than a match. Yeah.
This is a rigged election.
All right, Q.
Hanging Chad.
Let's see if
Hanging
Schwab
Chad.
gets any favor.
I'm gonna have to give it to Kurt the God.
All right. There it is. All right. So Kurt,
You see where I sit on the totem pole in this podcast.
Well, let's be very clear.
Hoopcast, excuse me.
You're the real winner here, Schwab. Let's be very clear about that.
no.
No hezzy. Appreciate you letting me step in front of the camera. I'll see y'all again soon.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna go and rotate back, and I'm gonna give you another view of my Ninja Turtle pants. Black. That was fun. That was fun.
Listen, it was so hard to sit over there and listen to all of that. I was like, I wanted to ask so many extra questions. I honestly have new clarity on how you guys feel about the Kings, and it definitely seems like you guys are in very different places right now. Schwab, you definitely have an affinity for Willie Cauley-Stein, which I don't understand based off of his play on the court. And Kurt, I had no idea that you were ready to get.
Felt so strongly in your opinion.
I didn't know you were ready to get rid of that man. I didn't know he was on the block. So, I mean, I had a good
You're
time.
playing with DeMarcus Cousins for so long, and yet you're ready to get rid of Willie after not even 2.5 years.
Willie Cauley-Stein is no.
Hey, at least
DeMarcus Cousins.
I mean,
more than 15 games.
I mean, how much do we need to see from this guy?
Right.
Like, what are you expecting out of him?
Isn't he in a contract year as
He's
well?
not a starter to me.
He's in a contract year.
He's not a starter in my opinion.
Technically, yes, but it's one of those qualifying offers that they'll more than likely pick up because they only owe him like $5 million next year. There's no point in letting him go to restricted free agency and then somebody putting in $20 million. Now they got to match $20 million.
And no reason for Max XXX Tentacion as well.
Hey, Schwab, you're actually right. Yeah, there's no reason to, let him go UFA. We should just trade him.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like you agree with me, and you just don't want to come to grips with it.
Well,
I really want.
we can close this, Schwab, because I know you don't want to talk about this.
I was looking forward to Dave taking some Twitch questions from the viewers out there, ending the segment off. And
I think they're at a loss for words.
My Blovih8tion is completely deflated at this point, and I'm gonna have to just Blovih8 myself on out of here.
So you bloviated your load, so to speak. Schwab,
What
do we call that, a blow job?
I want to ask you this last
A
question.
glove job.
Let's keep it PG a little bit. We did not just go there. We got have some young viewers watching.
Schwab, I want to ask you this question.
Don't be like Willie Cauley-Stein, his killers.
I want to ask you this last question. If you guys do keep Willie Cauley-Stein, does he deserve to start, or would you just put that man on the bench?
What I was actually, you know what? I'm going to answer this in a not two-part question, but I'm going to mold it all together.
Can I add a side piece with that? Especially with that, the Kings are looking like they're going to be a bottom 5 team in the league. So when they get their lottery pick, a lot of drafts boards are projecting they're going to pick a big.
Right.
So, basically somebody's, losing their ground
at this
on that.
point,
Can I add like an extra side piece to that? Almost like a mac and cheese.
This is like a 6-piece chicken and a drumstick and thigh meal.
Being
from
that we
KFC
also
right
have Costa Kufa still, Zebo, Scala BCA, Georges Papagiannis, my boy, blue collar guy from that everybody was cheering for in Summer League.
Cooley,
boy,
Cooley, as well as
Harry Giles,
who was projected to be a top
Garnett.
5, maybe even number 1 pick until he blew out the other knee.
They was calling him Baby Garnett before he blew that knee out.
right now.
That's what that was the word I got on the street.
His handle is has the big ticket in it.
Can I answer this question? I could care less where anybody plays right now, whether it's on the bench or starting. Like what Kurt was saying earlier, he had a little problem with Dave Yeager and the whole
rotation
and everything. I have no problem with it because at this point he's literally throwing whatever out there to see what works. Because obviously it's nothing is working right now. Getting back to the effort that we talked. See, I'm already getting worked up again right now.
Where are we at, Kurt? On time? Where are we at?
How long?
An hour and
Oh.
8 minutes.
Okay, so we're right on time. Right
All right,
on
one
cue.
more question, Suave.
Why? I don't understand why I'm being singled out. If it's about Willie Cauley-Stein or Buddy Hield or Scal,
I think we're just watching you react in the environment at this point. But nonetheless, I do have another question.
Elaborate. Blovih8. Your question.
I'll leave the Blovih8tion to you. I'll keep this one short. Now, with all that you're saying, is there an out to this whole, because something that the Lakers fans can look forward to is that, we do have the sense of, like it will get figured out. you know,
Look,
and moves will get made to make
look.
sure that happens.
Right.
Now, as far as being a Kings fan, we see how dark it is now. We see that the near future necessarily there's not much hope, is how you're describing
I'm
it.
gonna stop you right there.
Is there an out?
Schwab. No. Breathe easy. Allow catharsis to settle in. I'm going to answer this for you. Okay? We do have an out. We do have something to look forward to. Someone that Lonzo is not looking forward to. Someone that Lonzo has been ducking.
Yeah.
Some call him the Fox.
I won't lie. I was very surprised when all 5 of those questions came out, and not one of them even mentioned De'Aaron Fox.
We essentially the Fox.
Of course, in classic Laker fashion.
Lonzo's
classic
not the
ball
only one
fashion,
ducking the Fox.
They duck the Fox.
Hey, well, I've been on record as saying I rock with De'Aaron Fox.
Well, I
so I ain't gonna let y'all slander that.
Hey,
man
but I guess
during
we
your
duck
Blovih8tion.
I guess we duck Brandon Ingram, but he ducks himself most of the time anyway, so it's all good.
I just showed y'all love, and you gonna go take a
Hey,
cold shot.
Brandon's having a better season than anybody on the Kings right now.
Hey, you just worry about that perennial role player you got brewing number 14, and we'll go
That's
from
fine.
there.
If we know we have a perennial role player,
Right.
then what does that mean for the
Well,
players?
I would
on
hope
the
to
Kings?
God you have your star by that point. You don't
But
have
what
just
does
the role
no?
player.
What does that mean for the players on the Kings? Because if Brandon Ingram's playing better than any player on the Kings, and he's
He's a
just a
role
perennial
player.
role player, then what do you have?
Oh,
That's a very good
look,
point.
we know very clear we have nothing right now, and we will have nothing for a few more years. I was gonna get into something completely different, but I stopped myself because Kurt wanted to take that question, so I let him.
This is why the first question resonated with me so much. All right? So we're saying we've established that the future is not looking as bright as it possibly could have.
To
been,
answer
right?
your question, there is no out for the Kings.
Listen to me. This is going into this now. How long are you gonna give DJ in this situation before you try to find somebody else?
Oh, I don't really care because the only way the Kings are winning or doing anything is getting big name free agents into Sacramento, and that's not happening.
Which won't happen until you
How-
guys play
Listen,
well.
there's
So
only,
how
there's,
long
there's
does
only
DJ
been
have?
3 teams that have drafted well and built a squad out of their draft picks: the Spurs, the Thunder for the few years, and the Warriors. Besides Kevin Durant, I'm talking about Steph, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green are 3 perennial all-stars that are top 10, 20 players in the league.
How long does DJ have?
Why is this even a question right now? He plays out his contract, and if he doesn't do good, he's done. So
That's
3
all-
years.
That's all I wanted to know. Sean.
At least 3 years.
That's all
but
I was asking.
here's the thing: if they ended up doing well, get off me right now. I'm closing this out
See
right
how
now.
See, this is why we never talk about the Kings on No Hezzy because
And this is why Suave
He can't-
asked
he
us
can't
the
detach
question.
himself.
Look, we talked about Black
can't
Moses
detach.
and I used to talk about the Kings all the time. And the cops have been called because we've been screaming at each other about what's going on with the damn Kings.
very true.
So I'm not even gonna bloviate anymore because I'm over bloviated right now on these stupid Kings narratives. Let us go 15 and 80 and 72. Or, I did that math wrong. 15 and 67. All right, get a top 3 pick.
Tank.
Hope to God.
Hey, hashtag Tank for Porter, right?
I'm not all about Michael Porter. Anybody that goes to a crap Mizzou SEC team, I'm not about.
Well, he only went there for one reason.
Well, Jordan
because his
Clarkson.
father took the job.
Jordan Clarkson went
even
to
better.
Mizzou.
We got another Dougie McDermott on our hands.
Well,
then
he could have went anywhere. So let's be very clear about that, Suave. But anyway, I digress. I understand your Blovih8tion, and I hope that you get some self-care in tonight.
I really want to do a mic drop and just walk off right now. Let you guys finish the show.
All right, well,
but
throw us out of here, Suave. Throw us out of here.
for Schwab, Leak, and Black Moses, we're all over Blovih8ted, and we're still 3 days away from Thanksgiving. We'll catch y'all after Thanksgiving. Peace.
Peace.